There's a comedian right now who's really blowing up, so kudos to him, Josh Johnson.
I can tell you this, art can save your life. Art can absolutely save your life. But believe me when I tell you that entertainment will never be your salvation.
You see how that felt like a rally?
He has his audience.
That went way too long for no laughter.
Expecting Kendrick to rap so good that Trump is like, I'ma stop.
Social media has really helped us get to a place where we can just build our own audience and they just come and it feels like church. It's just people there who hate Trump and then they heard the dog whistle. Because if I'm not challenging the audience, that means I'm not challenging myself. And if I'm not challenging myself, then there's no progression. I don't want to just be an agreeable dude.
I can see how people would see it as hate.
I can see it too, 100%.
I don't think it's hate. I think it's...
There's a comedian right now who's really blowing up. So kudos to him, Josh Johnson. It's Josh Johnson, yeah?
Yep.
This black dude with dreads, really like tepid, like mild-mannered. A black guy you would give a job to at a white corporation. Like just in terms of energy, like really like calm, polite.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
Dante, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the point I was gonna make. It's like, hey, I used to work for a white corporation.
That's so funny. To be fair, we all work for white corporations. My brother. But yeah, this guy's really been blowing up, and he's been gaining traction. I think he was a writer for The Daily Show, and I think a couple NBC shows. I'm pretty like he was on one of those sitcoms. He wrote for sitcoms too, I think.
I don't really know.
He's a writer for Hollywood. He's like a Hollywood TV guy. Mainly stuff like The Daily Show. So like left-leaning political satire type shows, you know, Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert type-ish. He's been gaining notoriety and traction online for posting like 15-minute to 50-minute long sets, essentially. He's posting full sets. Whereas most comedians right now are doing the thing of posting crowd work.
Yeah.
Short crowd work material so they don't waste quote unquote their material by releasing constantly. Josh Johnson, who is a TV writer, so I would imagine he's very good at this, coming up with concepts, and he almost week to week, this guy's releasing like 50 minutes, which is a special, realistically, worth of comedy footage, and it's usually politically driven. Like he's got some sort of political slant or he's got a point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's blowing up. Millions of followers on his YouTube, millions of followers on his, and like I love that at least something is going counter to the people just posting crowd work clips. But I think Josh, at least when I really think on this, why I don't like this nigga is not because he's not funny or his writing isn't sharp. I think his writing is absolutely sharp. But I think it's the complete opposite end of what, like, is social media kind of exposing what it's done to the medium. Just on the opposite end of 1 minute crowd work clips, this guy's going the complete opposite of, I'm going to do 15 to 50 minutes and every week is going to be something new and topical. But like, it's not really hitting as hard. Like the points are there. He's making great points. Can we play a clip? And I'll do my best to not speak. But this is something that came up in my feed recently, which, I feel like makes the point or goes to the point. And I'll try and finish my point up after this clip. This nigga.
Show.
You saw me
when I rewatch it for the 100th time. And there were so many people that were critical of Kendrick. It should have been more. He should have done more. He should have like gone up there, been more militant. Should have done this, should have done this. And it's like, look, can I just tell you, I'm not trying to be a bummer when I say this, but like everything you've ever watched that ever went out on a broadcast that you thought was revolutionary or you thought was ultra militant was approved for you to see by a corporate lawyer. Like all of it was, you know? In fact, whenever a moment gets through that's not that thing, that person usually faces swift consequences. There are so many people that are like, no, he didn't go far enough. He could have done so much more. And it's like, look, I understand. That's what people are saying. But if you really believe that, if you really believe that He could have, he should have done so much more. I can tell you this, art can save your life. Art can absolutely save your life. I believe it from the bottom of my heart. But believe me when I tell you that entertainment will never be your salvation. All right? Art can save your life, but entertainment by and large is escapism. And no one has ever escaped their chains by forgetting they were there. So you cannot, when I tell you, you will not be saved through entertainment alone. Expecting Kendrick to rap so good that Trump is like, I'ma stop.
Stop it there. That's a great place to stop. Like, we don't need to go through the rest of this because I think that perfectly displays everything that I want to get across here. He has kind of, I didn't know why. I fully didn't understand why I didn't like this dude. Like, in terms of, like, I'm sure, and again, I'm sure he's great. And I'm happy he's found an audience because that's what we're all here to do. Can you close this, please? I just need the timer up. You see how that felt like a rally?
To a certain extent, yeah.
You see, like, people were there.
He
like,
has his audience.
So this is what I feel is my internal struggle, and seeing comics like this kind of help me at least articulate what I'm feeling. Because this is what social media has really done. It's made it so you can build your audience faster and more direct. He's reaching the people that want to be reached by this. But there's no challenge in it. For me, comedy is at its best when it's challenging. But social media has really helped us get to a place where we can just build our own audience and they just come and it feels like church. And when I watch something like that, bro, that went way too long. And sure, this could be me being an elitist comedian or however you want to put it, but that went way too long for no laughter. It plays out like a monologue from The Daily Show. You can tell that he's a writer for The Daily Show because it doesn't perform, or at least the way he's performing doesn't feel. Dude, I have Carlin on the set. So, like, I see what if he's going for that style. But the mastery of Carlin is you're laughing every 5 seconds and he's making a point every 5 seconds. It's not this long drawn out monologue feeling thing. It feels very much like he's doing an opening to The Daily Show where it's like, nigga, am I expected to sit here for 50 minutes and hear a monologue when I thought I was coming to a comedy show? But at the same time, he's built the audience. You hear the friggin' Yas Queens in the audience.
Yeah, but he did get a laugh.
2 minutes in, and bro, again, it's to each his own. So I can't really, like, he got the laugh. But that laugh, bro, for that long of a delivery or setup to get to that, it.
You know what I want to say though, because here's something that I
Play
noticed.
devil's advocate, please.
It's not really devil's advocate, but I think it's so interesting because I've heard you say some of those same points.
Of course,
right?
Yes. Get to it. Yes, queen. Yes.
You know what I mean? But I know you don't. Ooh, I'm getting that ringing. I must have tapped into something like tonight.
What ear?
Left.
That's the that you don't want that one. You want right. But anyway, these niggas. This is a comedy. Anyway.
But I know when you talk about, because you don't really talk about this all the time.
I don't do it drawn out for 15 minutes.
That's the point I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You kind of have like a boom, boom, boom on to the next. But the next thing I want to say is this also, I think, goes against what you don't like about the TikTok era. Because, like you said, this is a 50-minute performance. This guy's putting out long-form content regularly.
No, I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I love long-form content. If anything, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, if he's turning it out that frequently, I love that he's a great writer. It's great. He has success on The Daily Show and all that. And I'm just a guy on YouTube with barely any subs. So especially, like, that looks like hate or whatever. But, like, you can hear it in the responses.
Yeah.
it feels like church. It feels like a TED Talk. It feels like
Okay.
the punchlines that he's getting aren't punchlines. They're points that people resonate with and agree with, but he's not delivering them in such a way where the comedy or the humor is at the forefront, which is, to me, what comedy is. If you want to do that, then go do a TED Talk or go start a Daily Show, which I feel like this is where this is going to lead. He's going to end up getting a Daily Show type thing, and he's going to thrive because that's what he's doing. But like, if he's trying to emulate something like Carlin, then I would emphasize the humor, which Carlin, but bro, the emphasis was on the funny. Carlin made you laugh every 5 seconds, bro.
Yeah.
That took to me.
But how long did it take Carlin to make a 45-minute, hour-long set? How long do you think it took him to make
So that's
that
what I'm
set
saying.
to
I would
where-
prefer the effort lie in making something more polished as opposed to you just spitting out your thought every week because this is what's trending. So then that's algorithm bullshit to me. He's like, but when you're a good writer, bro, you got to look at the fact that he was a Daily Show writer. What they do is daily monologues on what was in the news last night. So he's smart. He's blending what social media is like what the crowd work comedians are doing with his best skill, which is being topical and all that. But like it was so drawn out and it feels more like you're making a point as opposed to putting the emphasis on the comedy.
So here's what I want to
That's
say
what it feels
earlier.
like to me.
That's fair. My question is, okay, because with the way social media is now,
Yeah.
eventually, if you get to that level, you're going to have your audience.
Correct.
So I think that's the level every comedian eventually gets to.
So that's a great point, but that's always been the case even without social media.
I know.
Before you got a sitcom on TV or whatever.
But so my point is, eventually, like
he's doing what sorry, go ahead.
No, but eventually, people are just gonna be like, yeah, talk your shit.
That's what it already was. It was already, yes, Queen.
But I'm saying,
and
I'm
did you
not
notice?
saying him, but I'm saying each comedian eventually gets to that point if you get to the point where it's your audience because they're agreeing with what you're saying.
But that is an advent, I think, and like again, this dude kind of helps me articulate what I have been feeling about what social media has done to the art form. It like, you notice that you said I tell these jokes too. Like
Yeah.
I like to tell more serious, thought-provoking jokes. I'm always weaving it in and out of just absurd, dumb bullshit also because I've learned, like, I'm not trying to be up there being preachy. That's what that feels like to me. He's like, and whatever, like, good for you. It's a lot of left-leaning stuff. So then a lot of the opposition he's getting online, what looks like hate, and a lot of it probably is just hate from like right-leaning people who are like, this guy's just blah, 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 woke bullshit, which, bruh, like it does kind of play off that way. Like but that's his audience. That's what he wants to build. But in the wider scope, this is now what audiences get trained on. So like the art form of comedy is completely not like the water is so muddied. Stand-up, I think, is at its best when the person isn't looking to curate a specific audience that will come out and, yay, cheerlead them when they say something politically that they agree with. I think the best comedians are ones that challenge themselves and the audience. They don't give you what you just want to hear, which is what this Josh Johnson dude really feels like he's doing. He knows that we're at a place now where everything's so volatile that we just need like a calm voice, or at least that's like, you know, his interpretation of whatever we need a calm voice that's saying the things without being rah. But watch that back and tell me that's not what that felt like. It felt like in church when the preacher starts saying, and Jesus, yes. It's like people they're not there for the funny. They're there to get the talking points that they're there to get to make themselves feel good. And that to me is there's no challenge in that. What do you
I know, but okay, so I'll use Rogan for an example because you get to that level where I think most comedians want to get to that level to where they can sell out. But you're not going to sell it to people that don't know who you are, that don't like you or anything. You're going to sell your tickets to the people that want to come out and see you and do your style of jokes. So, like, I think you're gonna
now, and this is what I'm saying. Social media has really done this.
No, but
yeah, bro.
No, but
before people would just go to a club to have.
I know, but I'm not talking about a club. I'm talking about an arena. I'm talking about that next level where you're trying to sell 1,000 tickets.
Yeah, but before the advent of this, even your favorite comedian, you weren't seeing them 10 times a day, every day.
Forget that though, because I'm saying,
but it changed the way.
No, because that's like saying, oh, I went to go see Michael Jackson. He did Michael Jackson music. Well, yeah, because it's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but again,
that was before social media and everything. Like, I think if back then, I don't know what your Carlin was, but you go because you want to see Carlin. And so you're going to be like, woo, 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 that's my guy, that's Carlin.
Yeah, you go because you want to see Carlin.
It's not going to be much of a struggle at that point. You go because you want to see Carlin, not Carlin's ideology. People are just going with what makes them, what they agree with. Everything is agreeable now. Carlin challenged his audience. Patrice challenges his audiences. You go because you know you're going to be entertained, but you might not agree with everything that you're going to be hearing. No, I know.
This nigga and everybody like him nowadays is just building the audience that they can just be comfortable with. There's no challenge there. They know it's like a comfort pillow.
So how do you...
Oh, I'm going to Josh Johnson because I know he's going to say the things that I agree with, and yay.
So then how do you build a bigger audience? That's
by being funny. This business is about being funny, not having a ideological point.
I know.
You see what I'm saying?
I understand.
This is what social media has done. This is the underlying feeling that I've been feeling and I haven't really been able to articulate or understand why. It's like I'm being led down a path to build an audience. It's like, no, we're training audiences to just agree with what we want to put out. I like being challenged by the audience. It's a feedback loop within itself. If something like, I don't want people to just come out and be like, I know that my jokes are going to hit because I know my writing style and stuff. I know how to bring that across. But there's nothing about that seems challenging on the comedy front, like Josh Johnson specifically. And I don't want to just people be like, it's everything like that. It's what he represents. Okay. It's that come up. It's even Joe Rogan. It's anybody on a side of the spectrum. This nigga's leaning one way, and he knows that if he releases this material, he will capture the attention of all the people that agree with him. I'm not trying to build an agreeable audience.
No, I get that.
That's what's even more challenging in a day and age where I could build that tomorrow. Yeah. If I start getting on my green screen, if I have, bro, you've seen all the ideas we've written down. How many times have we laughed at all these ideas, but we just... Because you know what? I think the tougher challenge for an artist today is to exist as just an artist and not be pulled in these directions. Because I see this working now. I can be like, you know what? F it. I'm just going to start writing whatever. Like, here's all the jokes where I just want people to think because I know there's people out there that want to think. Well, what about the people that want to think and just laugh? I want to have a range of emotions, not just come in and have one track thought experience. And Josh Johnson and all this stuff of just taking topical reference bullshit. Nigga, give me 50 minutes every fucking week and I'll do the same thing. But it's like, where's the challenge in that? Where's the progression in that? Where's the evolution? Where is the artistry in that? It's safe what he's doing. And that's what bothers me about it. It's not because he's bad. He's great. I think he makes great points and his writing is sharp as but it's safe, boring, and just it's like a bland meal. But you go to your favorite basic meal because it's your favorite basic meal. But what about the one meal that you've never had before that you're afraid to try and you're like forced into you're just at a comedy club and you don't know who's on and then you find your new favorite person or whatever and then you follow them that way. Like it used to be more like it was more organic. Or at least it felt that way. Like, but again, go ahead.
Well, because even you're saying it's organic.
Right? I was actually just going to go back on that because it's not. It was never organic.
And this brings us to our next clip.
Okay, yeah. That's funny. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know because I just exhausted my mental capacity to add this on top of that conversation. Because, we got to save this one. We got to save this conversation
Okay.
because I have a whole different viewpoint on what this is. This is like, because Johnson, I don't know. He seems like a guy that's building himself up from the trenches. You know what I mean? Like he was an unknown. He got writing credits or whatever. But again, it would lean into this. Like who picked him?
Yeah.
To get those spots and opportunities. And
You want to know? I said I wanted to say something.
Yeah.
And I had to write it down so I'll remember it.
yeah,
For the longest time, you're gonna find this hilarious. For the longest time, I thought that Josh Johnson and Gerard Carmichael were the same person.
even though one has dreads.
Before he didn't have dreads. This was a while back.
Oh, I mean, ideologically, I think they're the same person.
No, but like, cause
So it's just a matter of time before Josh Johnson
I kn-
sucking white man feet on HBO. You bitch ass weirdo, Gerard Carmichael, Gerard sucking white man's feet for a paycheck. You weirdo. It's just a matter of time before Josh Johnson be sucking white man feet for his Josh Johnson's Daily Show. And then it's like, oh, this man speaks for all of us. It's like, no, nigga, he speaks for you because he knows how to speak to you because he's playing a side. And that's what that shit feels like. There's no challenge to it. It's safe. And safe to me isn't pushing boundaries, isn't really, I don't think it's taking full advantage of the medium, of the art form. I don't think it's pushing it forward. I think it's sitting in safe pockets and just siphoning money out of it. Comedy's at its peak right now, right? Like it's bigger than it's ever been. People are making more money than ever. So why not find your pocket? That's what social media is really training us to do, right?
yeah, find your niche.
Find your niche. And then there's people, but this is what I'm always talking about. People just, I don't want that. And there's less and less of the people that are really looking for authentic experiences because everybody's just falling down a feed into an algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also a challenge for me. I have to become more and more okay with just, I'm like, you know what? I will have a smaller audience because I'm sticking to my principles. But the audience that I do have, man, the people that I talk to after the shows, wow, the connections that I've made physically, tangibly with people while not having to do this, while not having to go up and TEDx it for 15 minutes to get a point across, to tell a very tepid 5 out of 10 punchline. Nigga, this is comedy. We're here to make people laugh. The thinking part of it comes with the bro, Patrice is a master because every time he spoke, you thought, but it wasn't until you were in the car ride home or way after the comedy was over, they like, you would like, damn. But Josh Johnson and niggas like him or anybody who's just coming out to prove a point is coming out to prove a point. You're a comedian, you bitch ass weirdo. Be funny. That is the point. Josh Johnson. And that, damn, bro. That's 2 weeks in a row I'm shitting on black people with dreads.
Hey, it's Black History Month. Don't
No, that's
forget
over. Black History Month
It's
is over.
over. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but no, we gotta find a white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired shit comedian for next week for me to yell at just to balance the scales. Or an Indian. But yeah, and again, salutes to Josh Johnson and all these dudes because like again, you're playing the game, right? Some people are happy to play the shallow end of the game, and that to me, even though he's playing the intellectual, is just so shallow in his approach and basic. Type in on Nina Simone because I do really want to play this. Being an artist. There it is. Yeah, that one.
An artist's duty, as far as I'm concerned, is to reflect the times. I think that is true of painters, sculptors, poets, musicians. As far as I'm concerned, it's their choice. But I choose to reflect the times and the situations in which I find myself. That to me is my duty. And at this crucial time in our lives, when everything is so desperate, when every day is a matter of survival, I don't think you can help but be involved. Young people, black and white, know this. That's why they're so involved in politics. We will shape and mold this country, or it will not be molded and shaped at all anymore. So I don't think you have a choice. How can you be an artist and not reflect the times? That to me is the definition of an artist.
So, and now this could, if you look at it through a certain lens, you could say Josh Johnson is doing this. You know what I mean? You could absolutely hear what she just said and be like, but Zeus, with the clip that you just played, Josh is talking about how messed up the politics are and like, you know, how messed up but like, there's no challenge in that. It's not that he's challenging your perception of it. He's cheerleading people who already have the same thoughts and opinions as him. So they're just there to get the opinion reinforced. He's just feeding them like how you would feed cows. You just trough feeding. He's just giving them the trough.
Here's a question.
Go ahead.
Because this is also a particular clip we're watching.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if this
is all of the clips I've ever seen of him feels the same way.
I know, but the point I was going to say is because most of the time he's in front of his audience.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. But if he was doing this the same way, but it was, he just walked up somewhere and people weren't expecting him and it wasn't his audience.
If you're doing it in a comedy club, get the fuck off my stage is what I say. Because this is a diatribe. This is a TED Talk. Again, it's
okay.
I get, because Carlin's right here. So I get that this is a form of delivery. But when we're talking about comedy, the emphasis should be on humor. Yeah. Like, if you want to get points across, go be a speaker. Go do TED Talks. Start a daily show. Do a daily monologue thing. But when you're in the realm of comedy, especially now with the advent of social media, you can build it. You can, why, bro, how is it not enticing to be like, I can fill a theater saying what I want to say, not really, like, I don't even want to say he's not putting that much effort into it, but at least comedically, bro, he's just going up there to say points and get messages across. It's like, I have messages that I want to get across with my comedy, but never is my joke stemming from, I want to get this message across. There's always something funny I find in a message. So that's where I approach it with. I'm like, let's get this out, but then like, it'll usually leave people thinking. I don't ever want to be up there for 5 minutes. Hey, so, and you know, like, and you know, but if you think about it, and then it's like, yeah, but, and then 5 minutes later, it's like, and that's why I'm like, yeah, but Trump, like, but why Trump? Ah! Like, it's just people there who hate Trump, and then they heard the dog whistle. Why Trump? Yeah! Did you, let's just, we'll go back into it for 2 minutes. Restart it for me, and literally, let's examine this. You tell me. Get the feedback loop of the people responding. Hit restart on this. Okay, yeah, perfect. Like, the way they're reacting, he's not even giving them stuff to really laugh at. He's making points, which slowly builds to a, like, what should be a harder friggin' punch, especially if you're gonna go that long. But it's like a dog whistle. So the roar that he gets of people going, woo, is just people who agree with the point he made. And he had slight humor to it. So like, anyways, let's do this one more time. Mr. Josh Johnson, the #1 comedian in the world right now.
About the halftime show, and when I rewatch it for the 100th time, and there were so many people that were critical of Kendrick. It should have been more. He should have done more. He should have like gone up there, been more militant. Should have done this. And it's like, look, can I just tell you? I'm not trying to be a bummer when I say this, but like everything you've ever watched that ever went out on a broadcast that you thought was revolutionary or you thought was ultra militant was approved for you to see by a corporate lawyer. Like,
woo! Like first reaction. First reaction was that.
In fact, whenever a moment gets through that's not that thing, that person usually faces swift consequences. There's so many people that are like, no, he didn't go far enough. He didn't do. So he could have done so much more. And it's like, look, I understand.
His edit,
I understand.
By the way.
That's what people are saying. But if you really believe that, he should have done so much more. I can tell you this: art can save your life. Art can absolutely save your life. I believe it from the bottom
This
of
is
my
a
heart.
preacher.
But
This is a TED
believe
Talk.
me when I tell you that entertainment will never be your salvation. All right? Art can save your life.
Pause it.
But entertainment.
His delivery. I grew up watching The Daily Show. I loved The Daily Show. Until I realized, it's like, yo, I'm done with politics and ideologies and all that stuff. But I do like Jon Stewart because even though he's left leaning, he was more fair. But that's aside from the point. The way he's delivering this, the way he's presenting his material, is straight up a monologue. So go do that. But why would he do that when he can sell out a theater? Because people that agree with him will come and, like, you see what I mean? It's like, I don't want to build an audience like that. But that's as an artist, knowing that I'm good at my art, now that feels like a cop-out because that's not what I never got into it to just build an audience. Although obviously I want stability, I want money, income, and da. And this is my challenge. This is my battle. It's like I'm an artist and I'm a being, and like I'm not really a corporate. Like I'm not really intertwining that, and I don't just want to placate, And I don't even think that that's what he's doing. This is probably what he wants to be doing. I'd imagine. It's just
No, I think he hates doing this.
no, obviously not. But yeah, but like just I've been seeing the debate online and it feels like a lot of the people that just hate on him are just right leaning, so they don't like what he's saying, so they're just like, F this guy. But then I do see some articulate points where it's like, no, this feels like a TED Talk, and that's valid. I don't think that's just hate. Because, bro, this plays like a monologue. This nigga got no laughs. It's just straight talking of his points.
But you said those are his strengths.
So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, but you're not elite at it. You definitely ain't elite at it. But again, bro, you can reach your audience.
He's an elite monologue writer.
But this is just like, bro, if I see people comparing him to that doesn't even make sense. To George
Are
Carlin,
people doing that?
I see it. People, because Carlin is the king of this. Of storytelling, and like he started his career like from that album over there that's on the wall next to you to like this look and version of the older Carlin. Like that was straight up classical style comedy, like telling the jokes from set list A to B or A to Z. And then he got to this place in his life and his comedy where he's just straight up wrote word for word like a monologue, like a long story. Have you ever watched Carlin?
I've seen a few sets, but
Bruh.
like never like gone through and studied.
If you watch his old stuff compared to his newer stuff, you'd be like, his old stuff is like what you would like the traditional style comedy,
Yeah.
and then the later stuff is like more storytelling, long form. But he never went this long without, and it never felt, which I think is the important part. Like he was just there to drive a point home to you or to get you to agree. He actually loved challenging his audience. If anything, he's the reason why I'm like this as a comic. He's a big reason, him and Patrice. Because if I'm not challenging the audience, that means I'm not challenging myself. And if I'm not challenging myself, then there's no progression. I don't want to just be an agreeable dude. Because then I'm just being agreeable to myself. I'm yes-manning myself. Am I making sense, or do I sound like a hater? You know what I mean? Like,
sounds a little hate-ish, but I could see how people would see it as hate.
I can see it too, 100%.
But I don't think it's hate. I think it's you because you're a lot deeper in the game than I am, so you're seeing it at a much deeper level, right? So you're seeing it from your point of view to where it's like, don't call this stand-up comedy. Basically, if you're going to be preaching, call it something else.
Or at least just acknowledge what's taking place.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, this is storytelling.
but that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? It's like narrative driven monologues.
Yeah.
Which to me go at the beginning of a late night talk show. Not for 50 minutes. Excuse me, Dave, but are you gonna tell any jokes? Like that's when Corey's talking about Dave Chappelle going up there for 2 hours just riffing. That's what this feels like. If I paid for this, not knowing,
So is Dave
I'd be
Chappelle not a
pissed.
stand-up comedian?
No, that's like, you know what though? I can't wait to see a special from him because I would really like to see what that looks like. Because Dave Chappelle is 40 years into a thing where at this point I don't think that that's what he's presenting himself as. That's just like this is what he's presenting himself as. You know what I mean? This is my.
What do you
style.
think Dave Chappelle's presenting himself as?
At this point, he is a thing unto himself. That's why he doesn't really need to go like, I think he's past that point mentally. He's not trying to build anything. He's not trying to do, he's just going up there. But this feels like he's building a thing to sustain himself and do this forever. Whereas like Dave, at least there's more time for me to assess. It feels like a evolutionary chart. I don't know, man. I like, again, and I don't know how plugged in this guy is, because when you're writing for the Daily Show and all that stuff, is like, again, I don't think anybody just pops up out of nowhere and just is organic like that, which maybe playing the other clip would have helped, but
Tune in next week for the clip.
Yeah, for the clip. Anyways, and yeah, salute to John Johnson. Josh. Good for you, nigga. You suck. To me, and I'm just me. Who cares? That's where I know I'm not hating, because I know my opinion is just my opinion.
Yeah, but that's what haters have too. Just their own opinion.
I'm
not saying you're a hater, but it's still their opinion.
I guess. Maybe I'm just trying to articulate. Yeah, maybe. Whatever. I'm a hater, nigga. This nigga. Nah. I want him to succeed. I think a hater would not just wants you to die, jump off a cliff or whatever. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I've never been.
I feel like I've articulated why I feel how I feel, and that I'm not attacking the fact that this is what he wants to do, but just like how everybody is processing it and are like being like, this is the next guy and the next wave and the next this and that. I'm like, no.
But that's them.
Of course.
Who cares what they think?
And this is my podcast where I'm giving my
who cares what you think?
Yeah, exactly. Who gives a shit, nigga?
Yeah.
Turn off the computer now. The shit's over. Go into the sun.
End the episode. Why are you yelling?
Why are you yelling? But yeah,
stop touching niggas with your hands.
Hey, it's Hen Dog.
Black Zeus the Podcast Season 6, featuring Black Zeus and Dante, aka Black Zeus on YouTube, Patreon, and Instagram.